You know that classic image of the lone genius toiling away in a garage and changing the world? Well, in today's hyper-connected world, that's mostly a myth. The truly groundbreaking ideas, the ones that really shift the paradigm, they don't come from one person anymore. They're born from these complex, interconnected networks. And today, we're going to deconstruct exactly what that means. And that quote really hits the nail on the head. That old model of trying to innovate all by yourself, locked away in some R&D lab, it's not just slow, it's incredibly risky. To even have a shot at success now, you've got to collaborate. You have to be part of a much, much larger system. So that begs the question, right? If it's not one person or even one single company, then how in the world do we get from that little spark of an idea to a product that changes everything? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. So here's our game plan. First, we'll define what an innovation ecosystem actually is. Then, we'll meet the cast of characters that make it all happen. After that, we'll get into the 6 pillars of success, walk through a guide to building one, and finally, we'll take a peek at what the future holds.
Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, we need to get on the same page about what we're even talking about here.
So, look, this is way more than just some corporate buzzword. Think of it as a living, breathing environment. You've got all these different players, startups, huge corporations, universities, even the government, all interacting in this really dynamic way. And the one goal they all share, to speed up how fast knowledge moves around and ultimately to turn those brilliant ideas into actual commercial value. Now, you might be thinking, hey, isn't this just like an old school industrial cluster? And that's a common point of confusion, but they're fundamentally different. An industrial cluster was all about being physically close to cut down on logistical costs. It was driven by efficiency. But an innovation ecosystem, that's built on strategic interdependence. It's not about saving money on shipping, it's about co-innovation, creating something together that none of you could have possibly built alone. So what really makes these ecosystems tick? It kind of boils down to these 4 things. First, you need a diverse mix of players. Second, the outcome of the whole system has to be way bigger than what any one member could do. Third, everyone's success is tied together. If one fails, it hurts the whole network. And finally, and this is a big one, there's no single boss. That makes managing it a huge challenge. Okay, so if innovation is a team sport, the next logical question is, who's actually on the team? Let's take a look at the key players who really bring these ecosystems to life. Think of it like you're casting a movie. You've got your knowledge generators, like universities who write the script. You've got enablers, like venture capitalists who finance the production. Connectors are the casting directors, linking the right people. Promoters are the marketing team, getting the word out. And articulators build the movie set where everyone can work together. You absolutely need every single one of these roles. But every great movie needs a director, right? That's where the orchestrator comes in. This is without a doubt the most pivotal role. It could be a university, a big corporation, whoever. Their job is to be the conductor of the orchestra, making sure everyone is playing in harmony and working towards the same goal. Without an orchestrator, you just have a bunch of noise. And just like in any group project, not everyone brings the same energy. You've got your shapers and front runners who are driving things forward, but you also have your followers, and even some hesitators. Understanding these different personalities is absolutely key to managing the whole network. So this leads to the million-dollar question. What makes one of these ecosystems truly thrive while another one just fizzles out? Well, it really boils down to 6 foundational pillars. Think of them as the invisible rules of the game. All right, here's the playbook. You've got to have that mix of players and that strong leadership we talked about. You need a bedrock of trust so people can talk openly. But that's not all. You also need a super clear, shared goal that everybody buys into, a culture where it's okay to fail, and of course, a steady flow of cash for every stage of a company's life. Now, here's a concept that sounds a little weird at first, but it's the secret sauce: competition. It's this beautiful paradox where direct competitors are also collaborators. They share risks, they share knowledge, and they create something way more valuable together than they ever could by just trying to crush each other. It's a huge mindset shift. Okay, enough theory, let's get practical. How do you actually go about building one of these ecosystems? Or how do you successfully plug into one that already exists? Well, you can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation, right? Same thing here. You start with a brutal reality check. Does your region have the talent to actually use new technology? Then you need what's called a capital staircase, funding for every single step of a startup's journey.
And finally, you need a mix of digital platforms and real physical spaces where people can actually meet, tinker, and create together.
Let's unpack that term from the last slide, absorptive capacity. It sounds super academic, but the idea is simple. Are you ready to catch the ball when it's thrown to you? It's completely pointless to attract a ton of investment or new tech if your local workforce doesn't have the skills to grab that new knowledge and run with it. So what if you're a big company trying to play in this new sandbox? Here are 3 proven strategies. First, look outside your own 4 walls for answers. That's open innovation. Second, invest directly in promising startups. And third, and this might be the most important one, adopt a give before you get mindset. Offer up your resources and mentorship first. It builds the trust that makes the entire system work.
All right, so that's the landscape today. We've covered the what, the who, and the how. But where's all this headed? Let's take a look at the emerging trends that are already changing the game.
The model for all this has been evolving, and it tells a pretty cool story. It started with the triple helix, just university, industry, and government. Then we added a 4th strand, civil society, to make sure innovation was actually serving real people. And now we're moving toward the quintuple helix, which brings the environment into the mix, basically saying all innovation from now on has to be sustainable, period. And the rocket fuel for this whole evolution? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. AI isn't just another tool in the toolbox anymore. It's becoming the central nervous system for the entire ecosystem. It's the connective tissue that speeds up the flow of knowledge and supercharges R&D in a way we've never seen before. Okay, let's boil this all down. If you walk away with just 4 things, make it these. 1. Innovation is a team sport, and it needs a conductor. 2. That orchestrator role is vital. It's the difference between success and chaos. 3. Don't try to be the next Silicon Valley. Figure out your own unique strengths and specialize. And finally, culture is everything. A give before you get mindset wins, every time. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As our world gets more and more tangled together and the problems we face get bigger and more complex, is trying to go it alone even a real option anymore? Or is deep, meaningful collaboration the only true strategy we have left?